This is the PT3000, and as you can see here, the housing is shot. So we're going to have to put a new housing on this one. So the first thing we're going to do is take this apart and see what we're looking at inside. Why did the housing come apart?
Probably because it's from the Air Force.
That's how you're supposed to do it, right, Malcolm? If your hole's not right, you just pound it in.
All right. This one, internally, I can see right here, just by visual inspection, is that this is loose. Okay, one screw's missing, and yeah, that's the noise that you hear. That noise, that's
a pretty good sign.
That's a screw.
Somebody doing number on that.
But that has happened where that was actually a design flaw where this is fully tapped, but they use a short screw. So overuse and vibration, it comes out.
Can you lock tape those?
Absolutely. And when we make a repair, that's what we do.
Blue lock.
Still use
Yeah.
the same screws?
No, we'll replace them because generally the threads here at the end have been stripped out. So, yeah. So that's going to be probably exactly what we need to do here. So we're going to take off this stroke arm first so we can pull that housing out.
Can you order?
The motor. I mean,
You have repair parts, replacing parts.
Replacement parts. The replacement parts, you always buy this as a complete assembly. This arm is a replacement part, this motor is a replacement part, and the E-control is a replacement part. And that's about it as far as internal parts go. Out in the front end, they're all individual parts. Springs, jaw pushers, jaws.
About gear.
I've never seen this gear have to be replaced. Because if something fails, this is going to break, the motor's going to die, or the E-control is going to overload. So that's why it's a real simple tool to fix.
Gear. Okay. My asking is the same problem.
If you have to replace this, say these screws were say this came apart and you're at a position where you have to replace this unit. It's almost more economical to buy a new one.
Yeah.
So now this can move freely. And matter of fact, we'll just take this one apart so you can see all the different components. This E-control has a screw holding it in place.
This has to be completely apart anyway because you're going to put new housing on it, right?
Right, correct.
No, those are just slip-on fittings.
Yep.
So the plugs are easy to disconnect.
Oh, and you can only put them on one way.
Yeah.
So that's good.
So, okay, so the E-control comes out. And then this is held in with a little clip in place.
Oh, I see.
Okay? And you can see the two magnet spots that we were talking about, the two contacts. Right there and right there. So that's the rear, that's the forward. So,
The cup sometimes chips.
so
Adjustment.
that's a basic unit right there. Now, here are two screws.
Extras.
Yeah, those are the spare parts we put in. So this one's sheared right off.
So that means it's stuck in there. Probably.
Uh-huh. And this one, the threads are gone and it's bent.
Yeah, bent.
So,
Since that's sheared off,
Other
we're
than
going to
that,
have to
there's
get a whole
absolutely nothing
new...
wrong with this.
yeah, I can see the sheared one here. We might be able to work it out. So, what we're going to do here is I can take these out by hand.
Well, they're not grabbing by much on it, are they?
No.
No. 2 or 3 threads. That's it.
I don't know. That's,
Somebody had a bad night.
a long letter about this to them?
I did.
Yeah.
So you can see how bent that is. So, now, with the fact that we've loosened that up, this is the stem ejector, but we can get this to come apart and slowly work this apart. Oh, my fault. There's the ejector tube spring. Oh, okay. This is also jammed. This is good. We've got everything wrong with this one. This came all the way in and has jammed itself forward into the ball screw housing. So as I mentioned earlier, the way that we get this unjammed is we have to put it in the vise. As you're going clockwise.
Most left on thread? Oh, I see what you're
turn
doing,
it
just winding it down, back down,
down,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So anyway, but now that we can actually get this open, we want to be very careful not to open the whole thing up. So because there are leaf bearings in there,
Gotcha.
and they're held in there only with grease. So that's why it's so much
There are
easier.
bearings in there that held in just with grease.
Yeah,
Needle bearings?
Leaf bearings.
yeah.
Okay.
So that screw I'm going to try with a needle nose. Maybe I'll get it out, maybe not. If that doesn't work, I'm going to have to replace this housing on the back. I'm just trying to
That,
turn this screw out that broke, and it's going to work.
Is it gonna move?
Yeah, it's fully threaded in here, so why not use a longer screw?
Sure. Yeah. Well, you know, there is a logic, we're sure, but we're just not sure what it is.
Are you getting your own longer screws?
So I assume
Yeah.
somebody bought their own screws in the first place?
Well, that's
So
what
it's
the
just
problem is.
easier to use them. And
So we got it out.
problem is they bought
Yeah, sure.
million screws.
it's just easier to use.
So
thread it all the way.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a.
so that's going to be 4 new screws and some blue Loctite.
Much longer life, yeah, by a lot. Yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
All right, so we've put the ball screw housing back together now, and with Loctite, and it moves freely. So next thing we're going to do is we have a new housing here that we will put everything back into, and then we'll adjust the tool.
And if you want carpal tunnel, you just do this, you know, with a hand drill. This is good. You know, to take those out, that makes it real nice. So,
When you replace the housings, they don't come with a little holder on the side here, so you take them in exchange, but there's a little guide that goes on here, and it's just off a little bit. Yeah, it's in place. Okay. Then the first thing we do is we put the motor back in, because the wires actually have to go around, and this is it keeps it in place, and then it comes around again. So you can take the handle off. And it sits in this little cradle there. Now you can see right here the blue wires on the other. It needs to go on the other side with the red wire. Okay. So because the wire will obstruct the travel of the arm if not. Okay.
That's in all the way.
Yep. So, all right, and then once you have that in, then you put your handle back on. Okay. Yep. And then the next procedure would be actually the ball screw housing. Sits in there, just like that. Okay. Actually, I forgot a step here, because this guide that sits in the bottom here, it came off while I was taking it out, so I need a new C-clip to keep that in place. There. Good, so now that's back in place. That's in place, everything's there. Good. All right. So then we put the E-control back on.
How's that? Okay, it just sits right in.
Yeah.
It can only go in one way.
Can only go in one way, and then we're going to screw the arm back on to the guide here, but we aren't going to tighten them all the way down because we're going to have to adjust the stroke.
The stroke is adjusted with the switches?
Yes, you can do it two ways. I'm going to show you the easy way.
That's the way we want to know.
It's a visual inspection rather than the way they want you to connect one wire, and then when you bring, it's got a contact, and then the light will come on. It's tedious, I find. I just do it visually.
I'm all for whatever's the easiest.
Okay. Now, screw that back down.
Series color.
Red wire and then the blue wire.
Can't do it wrong because the blue wire goes to the blue wire.
Yeah, blue to blue and red to red. That's pretty
I
tough.
don't think you can mess it up.
You can't. One's a male, the other's a female. But it's important to have your insulator here.
Otherwise, I'm going to short right out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So now I'm gonna have to turn it around to adjust the stroke. And what I do is all visual. So the first thing I do is I bring this in to my dime width here. Okay.
He takes his dime out and sticks it in.
And then I actually use the screwdriver and I stick it right there at the end of the control. And if this is touching up against it, then I move it forward to where our gap is here, dime width. Then this arm, just a standard easy thing for me to measure, is that thickness there should be touching the contact underneath. So if that's the case, I'm just going to tighten these, and then I'm going to do a test run.
So if not, what you gonna do? If not, if it's not touching, what? How do you adjust it?
Just readjust it.
You just readjust it till those relationships are right. Dime up here, and
See, now we don't have a time up there, right?
no. Now it's coming so far forward. And now we go to the other check. The reason I don't do it the way they suggest in the manual is because the relationships are always different, just fractional on the way things stack up. So
Tell that to yelling at me.
okay. Now, if this nose tube threads on,
This has got
that's the other test.
There's a gap, there's a gap.
See the gap?
Now, if you were to cycle it back, screw it on, and come forward, it would.
It would jam up.
Yep. Jam up.
And if it's too far forward, we run the risk of blowing the front of the nose tube.
Just fix it now.
Okay? So, here we go. We're going to back this off. We're going to continue to thread that in. Yeah. Okay. So now we bring that till you just feel. There. Okay.
It's just touching the
Right.
side of the animal.
So, now, in order for this to make contact earlier, you have to move it to the right.
Makes sense.
Less to the left.
So you just move it forward till the light is on?
No, they're sloppy. So
How do you know, does the light come on when you make
it
this?
will.
Yeah, it looks good too, because I see a dime.
Okay.
And it comes forward, but you don't hear it squeak at the end, a chirp. That's, remember?
Okay. Now, does that automatically, I'm just not.
No, I'm releasing.
If you hold it back, does it stay back?
Yeah, it has a certain amount of travel, 810,000. Whoops.
that wasn't good. What does that mean?
There's a wire in there.
Yeah, the wire should be on the outside of that.
And lifted the motor up?
It couldn't stop.
You couldn't stop.
It couldn't hit the back contact.
Boy, that didn't sound good at all either.
Nope.
It's just what you were saying before,
was
that
trippy
wire is
sound.
very
That wire.
important.
So,
How did I get? Still not good. Is it?
no. Well,
Now, does that mean that we may?
Oh, we moved it too far forward.
no, because we're okay on that. We may have a bad E-control here for the back. So,
Hearing. It's just because it's continually to run, but it's
yeah.
physically stopped.
I'm letting my finger off. It would continue to keep going backwards. So, the next thing is we have to replace the E-control because we have a front contact, but we don't have a rear because it won't stop.
How's the battery?
Batteries are good. Yeah, oh yeah, they are. Yeah, the new 2.0s are phenomenal. They started at 1.4 amp hour, then went to 1.7, now it's 2.0. 2.0.
Yep.
It's been good.
Okay, and then we just pry this up a little bit to get the.
I see that when you're done.
Yeah.
Chances are it's just a bad magnetic switch. Huh?
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, put the arm on.
Yeah, I can do that afterwards.
Oh,
He's gonna go over here and tinker with that for an hour or two.
Yeah, this is good, John. It's good to have all this.
Yeah,
Good.
that's great.
Okay, and the arm just goes in there and snaps.
oh, wow.
Bing, bang,
Okay, put it in place.
Two steps forward, one step back.
Where we're going, someday
We'll
we're
see.
going that way.
Yeah.
We're not gonna jam
We're doing
forward.
Apple Hearts now.
Ooh, look where we are there.
That one doesn't have a
Yeah,
light.
But it
that
stops.
switch-
You can hold it down and
Now, leaving it like that, you're losing stroke that way.
What you're doing is you're losing stroke. Yeah.
that
So
one
you're
doesn't
gonna,
have
now
a
we're just gonna
So
bring that
we're
forward.
just going to bring it forward just a touch. So.
Yeah, one of those little things there.
As long as I got that, I got a job. Oh,
Still too far.
This one doesn't have a light.
No, these are the new ones. They don't have a light. No,
You just
we're
slap-
we're that far off.
Yeah.
I still want to see how that adjustment works.
Just the holes are bigger than the screw.
Well, that
Yeah.
just doesn't sound like something that, the Germans are so fussy on everything, then they make an adjustment like that, which is just a sloppy hole.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I won't go there.
Yeah. Chief engineer.
And they are
talked about
fussy,
that.
let's face it, they're very, very technical.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
There. That's it.
It works.
And since I've screwed this all down, I have to do this a different way. And I have to take the ejector tube out. So I can get it in there.
I got you. Because it goes into
Okay.
the slot, right?
There.
The slot.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Then we have the two-piece jaws.
Hole through the
That two-piece
body.
jaw on this one?
Yeah.
Or, no, excuse me, it's a 201 hole. It's a 201 hole. A quarter-inch side ejection. That's what, he's got it. I got one on the desk. In fact, I'll get it, yeah.
Next time, put those bad parts.
Yeah, F-143, no space.
Yeah.
He won't remember one, they'll have to go through this one.
And the bad econ,
Oh, that's good.
e-control.
That should work.
Yep, should work.
For Mark.
Put the
516.
3/16 Cherry Max. Actually, it's a universal now.
Side to side. 3/16
Where'd that go? Did we make that?
quarter.
And the stem drops through cleanly, so you know the jaws are open enough.
PR number.
The stem drops through cleanly, so you know that the jaws are open wide enough.
Yeah, as long as you hear it, then you know you're
So,
good. Then you're good to go.
take a little nose piece wrench.
We wouldn't have a job.
Example,
if we
don't
paid.
demo
We are-
bad.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
What were you doing before? Or you were just getting this snapped into the right spot?
Yeah.